I got a hog call for you. Woo pig losey. That was terrible.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy makes better jokes than me. Barely.
Maybe better than the last one. But I actually didn't think it was that terrible. It was something.
When you come up with these cold opens on the fly.
You do, yeah. And that part is impressive. Because sometimes you hit them out of the park. That's hard to do on the fly. That was a little more.
That was a ball.
It was okay. It was a ball outside, but it wasn't like a ball outside in the bottom of the ninth with the bases loaded. It wasn't like that.
This episode is brought to you by Jase Medical. I'll be talking about Jase Medical here in just a minute. But, Jimmy, I do want to talk a little Arkansas right now. We'll do our predictions tomorrow, as we always do. We talked about how Alabama has dominated this series. Arkansas is literally limping into this thing.
Yeah.
For all the heck Alabama's offensive line has taken for the number of sacks that they've given up, Arkansas's offensive line's been worse. And, KJ Jefferson, it was funny. So I saw a comparison like Jalen Milroe reminds me of a younger KJ Jefferson. I could make the argument Jalen Milroe is better than KJ Jefferson right now.
I think when you look at considering KJ Jefferson has about 900 career snaps and career pass attempts, and Milroe has like about 170, I would argue Milroe has considerably more upside. I think he's a better pure athlete. I think he's even maybe got more arm talent. But I like the comp. I mean, in terms of, I think that they're sort of similar. In terms of it all starts with big and strong and athletic, right? I mean, that's where it all starts. But to me, KJ Jefferson is athletic in the sense that like Ben Roethlisberger is athletic. And or certainly Ben Roethlisberger was when he was that age. I think Jalen Milroe is more athletic in the Michael Vick sense. I mean, I think, put it this way, I'll find a better word. Here's the better word, Luke, to describe the difference between the two of them in terms of the package. I think Milroe is just more dynamic than KJ Jefferson. He's just more dynamic. And I'm talking about, and obviously that is referring to the athleticism in terms of burst and speed and quickness. But I think he's more dynamic as a passer, or I should say he will be when he's KJ's age. Let's remember how long KJ's been here playing in the SEC. This is KJ Jefferson's third start against Alabama. And Luke, I know it seems he's been there forever. Ready for the shocker of the day? Everyone listen to this. Don't, if you're listening to this in your car, don't wreck the car because I'm about to shock you because this shocked me, but I looked it up. If he elects to take his COVID freebie, KJ Jefferson can return to college football next year.
Good God, have mercy.
I know. That doesn't seem, and you're like, Jimmy, there's no way that's right. I looked at it, couldn't believe it, posted it on BOL, ate my breakfast, and while I was eating breakfast went, no, this literally happened. I went, wait a minute. That cannot be right. Put down my breakfast, went back to the computer, looked it up again, and confirmed for like the third time. It is true. KJ Jefferson could return next season, and that sounds – I would be no more surprised if you told me Hunter Renfrow was returning to Clemson next year, even though he's been
Chris
playing
Winkie
in the NFL. But that's true about KJ. But let's put Jalen Milroe in year 5 instead of year 3. I mean, how good is Milroe going to be 2 years from now? Better than KJ Jefferson is right now. I would argue that Milroe is, I'm not going to say he's better than KJ Jefferson right now, but he's close. If he's not better, it's close.
Yeah, I think he is better. But I think it probably also helps. I mean, he's got a better supporting cast. Whereas
Milroe, no doubt.
you chose Rocket Sanders over our running back combo of Roydell and Jase. I get that. I understand.
When
I'm
Rocket's
not
healthy.
faulting you.
When he's healthy.
Okay, I'm fine.
Right.
But our running back room is definitely better.
Oh, no question. And our wide receiver room is miles better.
And if Luke Hawgs isn't, I don't think Luke Hawgs is going to be available this weekend.
I don't believe he is either.
I would say he's their best weapon offensively. I mean, outside of KJ,
Jefferson, Hawgs, and Rocket. Their best wide receiver is a guy named Andrew Armstrong. And I just say that to say, I bet not many people listening to this Bama show are familiar with Andrew Armstrong. Probably not.
You could have said his name is Franklin P. Rosemary, and we'd have been like, man, I don't know much about him.
That's right. Yeah, I think that ultimately that's been Sam Pittman's issue at Arkansas. I love the guy. I think he's great for the league. There is no one whose interviews I enjoy more than Sam Pittman's in the SEC. Great guy, fantastic offensive line coach. I think he'd be a good head coach if you gave him a good team. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know that it's necessarily his fault or his staff or keeping the staff together or whatever, but they just haven't recruited well enough under him, and they are lacking dudes. I mean, that's their problem. They don't have dudes. And that's probably going to show up some on Saturday because Alabama's got dudes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I wonder, there are beginning to be rumblings that, Sam Pittman could be on his way out if things really do fall apart. I mean, if you lose to Alabama, then you've lost to BYU, you've lost to LSU, you've lost to Ole Miss, and there was one other one in there, wasn't there?
A&M.
A&M, that's 5 losses in a row. And I mean, I know the back half probably, you got Auburn at home, and they should be able to beat Auburn, you think.
Unless the wheels come off, they're very likely to even win out. Their schedule significantly softens after Alabama. They've played all their tough games early. I can see them winning out unless the wheels come off. But what they need is to get Hawgs back in the line up, Rocket back in the lineup, keep KJ Jefferson upright. And I think they can win out, maybe save Pittman's job for another year. What's interesting to me is they've been connected to Deion in the past. Can they conjure up enough Jerry Jones money to, if they do fire Pittman, which is going to be a big buyout? I mean, they'd owe Pittman a lot of money. Can they pay that and then still go land Deion, who may be a more pricey free agent than he was when he was the best cornerback in the NFL?
Yeah. I mean, that was where I was going with this. If you're Arkansas, I think you've got to do something like that. Now, so there might be some people out there going, hey, that's a recipe for disaster or whatever. Some people may not still be Deion believers. I understand that. But at the same time, Arkansas's got to do something funky, because you're in a league now where if you're Arkansas, it's not like Arkansas and South Carolina just joined. You are Arkansas and Oklahoma and Texas just joined. So wherever you were on the pecking order, you got knocked down 2 rungs, wherever you were. And you're above Vanderbilt. There's no doubt about it. And you've got a lot of Walmart money. We all know this. That's fine. At the same time, you are at a place where you need Magellan in the front seat to get there. And it's not a super sexy program. The last few coaches have been the likes of Brett Bielema and Sam Pittman. I mean, 2 literal offensive linemen. So,
right.
I mean, you need something funky to get you going.
Right off the top of my head, I don't know if this would be a name that excites people, but one of the first names that come to mind for me that would be interesting. They need offense. They need some excitement. Maybe Jeff Lebby, who's the OC at Oklahoma. He's been around OC at Ole Miss, and he's been around a couple of places related to the Browse family, or even Kendall Browse, who might be ready for a headshot. But I think if I was Arkansas, I would go young in offense if they can't afford Deion.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, Jimmy, we're going to update you on some injuries and let you know what we think about those guys. And if certain guys can't play, who's going to have to step up. But right now, I want to tell you about Jase Medical. The Jase case, I've got one myself. I wish I had it here at my office. I've got it at my house. It provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. All it takes to get a Jase case is to fill out a simple online form. And in some cases, you're going to have to jump on a quick call with one of their board certified physicians, but that's not a big deal at all. Get ongoing care from their physicians on any treatment related questions, doctor created and doctor recommended. You don't want to be caught unprepared. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. And Lord knows we're all dealing with the unexpected right now. Jase handles everything from online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Look, I just want you to go check it out. Okay. If you don't order, so be it, but do go to the website. I would appreciate it. It's certainly worth your time. You get $20 off these life-saving antibiotics today from Jase Medical by using my code locked on. That's all one word at checkout on jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. So Jimmy, injury wise, one thing you and I all summer talked about Christian Story, the greatest Christian story since Jonah and the whale. I've used that joke before, but I think it's worth recycling.
Hey, it's been a while, so it's funny again.
It's been a hot minute. So Christian Story played this past weekend. Here's my problem. I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it at all until I looked at the box score of participation. And so I guess what I'm saying is it sounds like Malachi is probably going to be out this weekend.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know, but I think it's fair to guess Malachi won't be around this weekend as a guess.
It feels that way.
It feels that way, but nothing's certain. We haven't been told that. We don't know for certain, but I'll be surprised if Malachi is there. Now, I think for starting the next week, it starts getting realistic against Tennessee. So we'll see.
So if Malachi,
by the way, I did notice Christian Story. What happens is, and this is kind of interesting. For people that don't follow it this closely, but when Malachi goes out, we have to play musical chairs back there. Malachi plays 3 positions. He plays safety, star, and money, depending on the down and distance and the offense's personnel. He plays 3 spots. So when Malachi goes out, hello, musical chairs or duck, duck, goose. Maybe that's a game that sounds, but Malachi comes out. So Terrion Arnold moves from corner to star. Trey Amos comes off the bench to play corner, and Christian Story becomes the 6th defensive back when we go to dime. 2 snaps after Malachi was out, we did play a dime snap with Christian on the field, 2 snaps, and they went right at him, and he gave up a first down. So he didn't do too great. But the thing is, we don't play a lot of dime right now. We're playing a lot less dime than we normally do. That's one of the changes under Steele. Steele seems to prefer to get nickel and just stay there and not have as many moving parts, and just he wants his players on the field to be a little more versatile in what they do, as opposed to always, guys running in and out. So it's been less dime, which means probably less snaps for Story, but he was out there, did give up 1 play. But I was glad to see him with the first team because me and you have been fans for a while.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him so hard. I want him to make a move. I want him to make a play. I really do. And I'm hoping maybe this weekend will be it.
If Malachi's not back, Tennessee forces you to play a lot of dime because they will spread it out and they'll go vertical and they'll put 4 and 5 wide receivers on the field at times, not like they did last year, but they still do it. And you are in dime against Tennessee more than most of the opponents we play. So if Malachi's not back, I can see Christian Story playing as many as 20, 25 snaps against the Vols.
The Hawgs or the Vols?
Vols. I don't think we'll see much dime. I don't think we'll see much dime against Arkansas. And again, Malachi could be back for Tennessee. I think that's very realistic. But I'm just saying, if Malachi's not back for Tennessee, I can see Christian Story playing a ton of snaps that game. This weekend against Arkansas, assuming Malachi's still out, which we're guessing, if Malachi's out, I don't think you'll see a lot of dime except for this one fact. And let's hope I'm laughing. So let's hope I'm not just setting us up for disaster here. But I could see us having Arkansas on a lot of 3rd and 10s and 3rd and 12s. And you do play dime in quite a bit of those instances because they're going to put more, if the other team has 4 wide receivers on the field, we have to be in dime. So that's going to happen for Arkansas on the 3rd and longs.
Yeah. Any other injury news out there?
I haven't heard an update on James Burnip. I'm just going to
Yeah,
guess
that's the one
those.
I meant to ask you about. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything specifically about Burnip, but pulled muscles, sometimes that can linger a little bit. Much like the Malachi thing, as of this recording, Luke, I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that Reichard is the punter again this weekend, and he did a great job. We hadn't talked to him. He averaged over 40 yards a punt and punted 4 or 5 times against the
Didn't
Aggies
Reichert get hurt punting too when he was a freshman?
when he was a freshman. I- He was doing both duties,
I remember that.
but I believe he got hurt on a kickoff.
Did he? Okay. But there
Pulled.
was something that happened on his punting duties. I can't remember what.
Yeah, I can't remember what either. It was back when he was a freshman,
Yeah.
but for a while when he was a freshman, he was doing it all, and we think that probably contributed to the injury. He was kicking off, he was kicking field goals, and he was punting when he was a true freshman because Alabama had punter issues. We had punter issues ever since J.K. Scott left until we get this new improved Burnip. He's been the best punter since J.K. But Reichard's doing a heck of a job. As a backup punter because he doesn't get a ton of reps during the week.
No. And look, it just shows his versatility. Hey, I'm happy for him. This shows this is an opportunity for him to show NFL scouts, hey, I can do double duty and probably just elevate his stock. So and look, Will Reichert
that's exactly
is very
right.
close. Will Reichert is very close to becoming the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history.
Isn't that crazy?
That is
that's
nuts.
crazy.
And
the COVID year,
seems like
the COVID year
only
is going to
we
help
love
cause that.
It seems like only we recognize him as Alabama fans, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he didn't get the same national love.
Yeah, I think if you let's ask Texas Tech fans if they've ever heard of Will Reichard. Probably not. Probably not, and they should. I mean, I'm not trading him for anybody. And you make a great point about the NFL. Spots NFL has 53-man rosters, not 85 like college. With kickers, it's very important. Look, they don't want to waste a roster spot on a punter, a kicker, and a kickoff guy. They would like to only have two. But since Reichard can do it all, he is obviously a field goal guy first and foremost. He can kick off. He's just not that great at it. I think that's going to hurt him a little bit. But he can punt. So at least Reichard is part of the pitch. The hey, I should make a roster is, hey, I'm not going to be good enough to punt, but I can punt. If the punter gets hurt, I can punt
in a pinch. Any port in a storm, as they say. Jimmy, when we come back, we're going to talk about some questions. We're going to talk about the questions for the back half of the season. But right now, I want to tell everybody about PrizePicks, and I even got my overlay right for it, and I'm going to put it up in time. PrizePicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Look, PrizePicks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform. That's DFS, by the way, platform in North America. They are easily the most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. It's a ton of fun. I know you've seen the advertisements other places, but you want to go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the number one daily fantasy sports app. You can bet on all types of, not really bet, it's just pick on all things that you want. Testing my skills on PrizePicks this football season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Trust me, I love this thing. It's a ton of fun. I do it every week. PrizePicks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. It's just boom, boom, boom. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. This is going to be so much fun. It's just daily fantasy stuff. That's all it is. And it's like playing regular fantasy, but you do it on players and it's over unders and it's so much fun. Go check it out. Go check it out. All right, Jimmy, questions for the back half of the season. The number one question for me, do we release the Kraken? And the Kraken in this case is Justice Haynes. I am going to say...
If you were referring to the hockey team in Seattle.
I am going to say that we play him a little more, but don't play him as much as I want. And that's unfortunate because I feel like Boy, I think if he gets on the field in meaningful moments and he gets to run the ball or catch the ball, I think he will wow everybody. I think the lone problem must be pass pro.
I think that's all true. Lack of experience, pass pro. Um, he's got to know. I mean, he did get here less than a year. Running back's not as complicated as quarterback. It's not as complicated as the defense, but you still have to know stuff and learn stuff. And it is far more complicated than playing high school running back in terms, particularly blitz pickup, where to line up, when to go in motion, running your pass routes, catching the ball, getting your guy blocked in the blitz pickup. But here's the thing. There's 6 games left. I do think we're going to start seeing Justice Haynes. I really do. And I think this weekend, hey, I'm guessing here. How would I know? They don't send the memos to me. But I'm guessing that starting this weekend, Justice Haynes starts becoming a thing in terms of we're going to see more of him this game than we have any other games. And I think that his usage is going to grow. I really believe that. I'm not just that's my belief. And over these last 6 games, Justice Haynes will become a part of maybe even a big part of things on offense. And I agree, Luke. It'll be a little bit like a mid-season pickup in terms of like, wow, where has he been? But the fact of the matter is, where's he been? He's been learning as any other true freshman, learning the offense and finally finding a role. I'll also throw this in because I also believe this. Let's talk the opposite end of the spectrum: a senior and not a freshman like Justice Haynes, but a senior and Jase McClellan. I think Jase has a big second half, and I think he's close to a monster game. It might even happen this weekend. Jermaine Burton had the breakout game statistically against Texas A&M. He's a senior wide receiver. I like senior running back Jase McClellan. He's overdue for this, Luke. He's due for a home run. His longest run from scrimmage so far this season is something like 22 yards, which
is exactly 22 yards.
That's stunning because Jase can run. Jase can score from 80, and I think he will.
What is our longest run period by anybody?
I know what it is, and it will stun people. It's Jalen Milroe's 53-yard touchdown run against Mississippi State.
Okay. That's the one I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
But from a running back, I think the longest is Roy Dell, and again, it's only about 30-something yards. So I think Jase McClellan has a breakout big game soon to remind everybody that he's pretty good. Again, he's not awesome. I think one of our issues, and boy, Bama problems, right? One of our issues is, hey, I'm just being honest and not being a cheerleader, being an honest when I say, look at all the great backs we've had: Henry, Ingram, Yeldon, Lacey, Trent Richardson, Kenyon Drake, Damian Harris, Josh Jacobs. Jase isn't as good as those guys. He's not as good as they are. So it's a step back. But for those that get we got to play Justice, he's not good enough. Jase is good enough. He's a good college football running back, and he's even, I think, a quality SEC back. But he's got to put up better numbers to prove that, and I think he will before the season's out. I think he's got a big game coming up. Maybe Arkansas, maybe Tennessee. Boy, LSU would be nice. But Jase will have a breakout type game, and I think Justice Haynes will become a bigger part of this offense as the season progresses, even to the point that I think I can envision if Alabama gets there, Luke, it's the SEC championship game. Maybe Justice is getting just as much play at that point as Jase.
That would be wonderful, and again, I'm all for Roy Dell getting his moments too. He certainly bailed us out at South Florida. Boy, who would have thought at the beginning of the year Jase McClellan, Alabama's leading rusher. I mean, people would have thought that, but he's only got 300. Let me look here. 371 yards rushing through 6 games.
That is, by the way, stunning. But
Jaquavius Marks only has 458. Quinshon Judson's only has 443.
Yeah. Well, he's been hurt.
251. Jacquez Hunter for Auburn, who a lot of people thought would be first team All-SEC, has 202. Peyton Thorne right behind him at 198. And Peyton Thorne has more rushing yards than Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, boy. I did not have that on my bingo card. I also think Milroe's going to have a big rushing game soon. How about this while you're on SEC running backs? I looked this up the other day, and here's a new – we're talking about how Texas Tech fans don't know who Will Reichert is. How about Alabama fans not knowing who Cody Schrader is? But let me tell you about Cody Schrader. This is also stunning. Cody Schrader, Luke was just going over SEC running backs. He's the second leading rusher in the SEC behind Ray Davis. Cody, second year, by the way, he's a leading rusher from Missouri, but this year he's having a really big year. He is a sixth-year running back, which is rare. When you have a quality running back and he's been around in college football for 6 years, that just doesn't happen anymore. He played the first 4 years of his career, Luke, at a place called, and this was new to me, Truman State. I don't even know what that is. That's not an FCS program. I don't know what that is. He played at Truman State and came to Missouri last year, walked on. There's a walk-on running back who played 4 years at Truman State that is second in the SEC in rushing. I think that's maybe the best story in the SEC so far this year. Cody Schrader, running back Missouri.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I talked about this last night on the Sports Splits program I do on Tuesday nights that, Missouri, I know they lost to LSU this past weekend, but they looked pretty good doing it. They didn't look awful. And
yeah, they're a good team.
You know what? Next year, I mean, I was thinking when the SEC schedule came out for 2024, I thought Auburn had really caught a break. I mean, they get Oklahoma at home. They don't travel to Texas. Yeah, they go to Alabama and Georgia. That's true. But other than that, they no LSU, no Ole Miss. They do have Texas A&M, but it's at home. I want to tell you something, man. Now I think they travel to Missouri, and Missouri comes to Tuscaloosa. Those were games I chalked up as easy wins. They ain't easy wins next year.
Auburn would not. I'll just be emphatic about this. I don't know about next year because that's next year, but this year, if Auburn was playing at Missouri, Auburn would not beat Missouri in Missouri, and they probably wouldn't. They probably wouldn't beat them at home, but they almost certainly wouldn't beat them on the road. Missouri's good. I'm not sure what all they'll be bringing back next year. Brady Cook, maybe the most improved player in the league. Like I said, Cody Schrader, maybe the best story in the league. Luther Burden, maybe the best wide receiver in the league. So Missouri is a bit of a story.
Brady Cook will be back and Luther Burden will be back. I mean, unless Brady Cook crazily went pro or something, but
that would be really nuts. But on the other hand, he's sort of looks like an NFL player at times, which is just shocking because as I saw Brady Cook play last year and thought to myself that he wasn't good enough to be an SEC starting quarterback, and Missouri had a mess there. And now this year, you fast forward 1 year, and like, who the heck is that guy? I mean, he Blake Sims'd from last year to this. I mean, in terms of his radical improvement from 1 year to the next.
All right, that's going to do it for today's podcast. I know we got off the rails a little bit on the end, but you know what? That's what we do here at Locked On Bama. So until tomorrow, when we have our prediction show, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.